Irish squad for the Nations Championship, folks. What are the expectations for these lads as they head down this neck of the woods? It's a little bit of a late look, but one of the good things about being so late is there were more developments in the squad since its naming, with a couple of players unfortunately being injured. But we'll go through the squad. Where's it looking kind of interesting? What are the expectations for their 3 matches, the injury list, the call-ups and whatnot? You guys can let us know your thoughts. Obviously, Caelan Doris and Tommy O'Brien being injured. These are big losses. Caelan Doris is literally your captain. He's going to be your leading guy for carries and post-contact meters, and he's one of your top tacklers and whatnot, and just a leader of the team. So that timing, again, this time of year is very unfortunate for him. And Tommy O'Brien, in terms of like your aggressive ball-carrying outside backs, is also a massive loss. He's had a pretty good year. And yeah, I don't know that you get necessarily kind of a like-for-like replacement in terms of his just ability to aggressively carry the ball. You've still got very good outside backs, for sure. And we'll get to them certainly in a minute. But I do feel like both those guys are very unlucky and will be missed on the tour. The injury list without those guys added to it was already pretty long. Jack Crowley missing the tour with injury is a really unfortunate one in terms of him trying to stake his claim as Ireland's first choice number 10. It leaves the gap open for a suddenly back in very good form for Leinster Sam Prendergast. Harry Byrne is in the mix as well. Kieran Frawley is going to be that kind of cover guy, but yeah, unfortunate for Jack Crowley. Andrew Porter being out means loose head prop is suddenly looking a little bit like just less experienced. This is a weird situation where your props are younger than your midfielders. It's just unusual. Props are usually the guys, pushing the age and cap numbers up, whereas in this case, you got Billy Bowen and Sam Elo, who are, both in their, like Elo's 25. He's the older of the two. Billy Bowen's only, 20? Covering loose head prop, so great experience for both these guys as well, but they certainly bring the age profile and the number of caps down, and it's just unusual to see that in that part of the field. Usually it's 20-year-old wingers and whatnot getting capped, not necessarily 20-year-old props. Elsewhere, Mac Hansen, him missing down under is an unfortunate one with injury, but he's missed a fair bit of game time. Calvin Nash, Paddy McCarthy, another one of your prop injuries out. Ryan Baird. You guys are pretty stacked with locks and back rowers, so he's a great player. I'm less concerned about that, but unfortunate for him. Shane Bolton, Jack Boyle, Odogbo, Tom Farrell, like the list goes on. It's a very long injury list for Ireland. The only benefit there is it potentially allows other guys a chance to get some game time. The core of the squad, though, I think is still pretty much there. Like Dan Sheehan's still going to captain the side in the absence of Caelan Doris. He's, getting himself back fit and rearing to go. I think he finished the season on the bench for the URC final. So good to see him alongside Kelleher and Tom Stewart. You guys are doing all right at hooker at the moment in Ireland. I mentioned the locks like Byrne, Izuchuku, McCarthy, Darren Murray. Please don't give me grief about his surname this time because that's just the way he says it. Darren Murray, great line-out stealer. So I've been seeing a lot of that in the URC, especially in Connacht's kind of revival in the second half of the URC season. He's going to add to his 3 caps. James Ryan. I like the fact you got a couple of big old lump locks there in Ryan and Joe McCarthy. They pair so well with a Tyg Byrne or a Cormac Izuchuku or whoever fills alongside there, or you can just play both of them. You got some really good options. So I'd be pretty pleased there. The back row is looking a little bit lighter, as I said, with no Doris, but you've still got Jack Conan, who might be called to start at number 8, instead of being his, super sub kind of role that he's had in recent years. Prendergast is still there. Nick Timoney and Josh van der Vliet got your 2 tackle machines there. And then Bryn Ward gets a call-up as your injury call-up for Caelan Doris. It'll be interesting to see if he gets a game. Maybe Japan is the most likely one potentially for him. Covers 7, covers 8. He's only 23 years old. Good form call-up, I think. And then Sean Jansen, 27 years old, a little bit older, but man, has he had a season for Connacht. That guy's had some phenomenal stats, and he is a guy who also just seems to absolutely thrive in the contact. So you're pretty good. You're pretty good, I think, in your loosies. I think you'd be reasonably happy. Prop is the one area which just looks a little bit light. Like, Furlong's got 80-odd caps. Tom O'Toole, who I guess is covering loose head, because you got Thomas Clarkson as a tight head, Tyke Furlong as a tight head, Sam Elo as a tight head, and then Lockman and Bowen as your loose heads. They did play Tom O'Toole a bit of loose head at the Six Nations, so I assume they're getting him to do that again. He's on 21 caps. Otherwise, things are looking a little bit light. Like, Clarkson's on 13, Lockman 8, so it's just a little bit light without Porter and without McCarthy there, who's also, not the most deeply experienced guy, but it would have been a good guy to have potentially in the mix. Backs-wise, I'm chuffed for Nathan Doak. He adds a goal-kicking option as your additional kind of option at number 9. The midfield, like I said, is looking a bit older because you got Archie at 36, Henshaw 32, McCloskey 33, and Ringrose 31. So your midfielders are all in their 30s. That's more of a usual profile that would you see from your props. McCloskey, though, was in career form in the Six Nations, so I don't want to dismiss anyone for the age. This is what it is. If they're good enough, again, they're good enough. McCloskey, maybe you just do peak at 33 or 32, whatever he was in the Six Nations. Dude was offloading, getting try assists, direct carries, big tackles, like literally everything from McCloskey in the Six Nations. Took his game up to that level, which you feel like he's been close to it for a long time, and then finally got a crack with a few guys out, and then he took his chance. So, yeah, I hope McCloskey gets a start and see if he can recapture some of that Six Nations form. Ballacoon was likewise in the great Six Nations form. Keenan, O'Brien, Osborne, Stockdale, and then Zach Ward is your kind of other injury call-up. So again, it's a nice form pick, not initially in the squad, but Tommy O'Brien's absence gives him a potential chance on the wing. Had like 11 tries in the URC for Ulster, so again, another form pick. Kieran Frawley gives you some versatility on the bench, able to cover so many different positions, but like a lot of them can. Like Osborne's quite versatile, Jimmy O'Brien's quite versatile, Stockdale can cover fullback and wing. So there's lots of options here for Andy Farrell. Who are the guys who have missed out? Well, like I said, because the injury list is so long, I feel like the omissions list is not as long. Obviously, James Lowe going to Japan has ruled him out. He's played his last test for Ireland. No Finlay Beelum. Maybe brings the age profile of the props, as I said, down a bit. As far as I'm aware, he's fit. Michael Milne was potentially another option for loosehead prop cover. I think he was... Did he miss a little bit of the end of the season injured? I didn't see him on the ruled out through injuries list, though. So, was another potential option. Gus McCarthy, maybe, but would you really want to go with 3 Leinster hookers? I think Tom Stewart is also a good shout. So, Max Deegan is maybe a little bit hard done by, but the back row, like I've always been talking about Gavin Coombs for years. I always like watching him for Munster, but where do you fit the back rowers in? Someone's going to be unlucky in the Irish back row. You guys are just too stacked there. What are the expectations for this lot? I keep saying at least 2 out of 3 for lots of teams, but not everyone can get to it. Like 3 out of 3 would be great. You got Australia and Sydney, Japan also in Australia, so you don't have to kind of backtrack back north after coming south. So you got 2 games in Australia and then New Zealand at Eden Park. Like 3 from 3 would obviously be the dream. Imagine being the team which takes that Eden Park record away from the All Blacks. You would annoy a lot of South Africans if you did that, because they had a crack at it last year. That would be amazing. 3 from 3 would be magic. 2 from 3, I think, that'd be pretty good. You get the Aussies first up. You got to get 1 from 3. You got to beat Japan. So 2 from 3, I think, is expected. And 3 from 3 would be fantastic. The thing is, the Aussies also want 2 from 3, and that includes beating either you guys or France. So someone's going to be disappointed. Someone's only going to get 1 from 3 or potentially lose all 3 of their games. But I feel like for this Irish squad, despite the injuries, you got to aim for 2 from 3. And as I said, 3 from 3 would be absolutely magic. Like the Eden Park record would be the cherry on top for sure. But you guys let me know your thoughts. The age profile is a little bit older, as with most of Andy Farrell's squads. You guys track a little bit more like the Springboks in terms of sticking with the experienced guys, not just going with wholesale changes. But yeah, you got some good players there, man. Gibson Park, I didn't even talk about him because he doesn't need much introduction. He's one of the best 9s in the world. If they can get their game going, they will be tough tough to live with, but we will see. You guys let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We look forward to seeing how Ireland go when they come down here. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See ya.